This episode of Empty Betters is brought to you by DraftKings. The NBA 82 game grid is done, and now the real fun begins. The NBA playoffs are here, and it's time for the high stakes drama, clutch moments, and jaw dropping plays. I can't wait. If you're looking to make the playoffs even more exciting, DraftKings Sportsbook has you covered as an official sports betting partner of the NBA. Try placing a bet on your favorite player's performance. Will they drop 30 points, 40 or more? It's your call. Here's something special for first timers. New DraftKings customers bet $5 to get $200 in bonus bets instantly.
Gambling problem? Call 1-800-GAMBLER. In New York, call 877-8-HOPE-NY or text HOPE-NY 467-369. In Connecticut, help is available for problem gambling. Call 888-789-7777 or visit ccpg.org. Please play responsibly. On behalf of Boot Hill Casino and Resort in Kansas, 21 and over. Age and eligibility varies by jurisdiction. Void in New Hampshire, Oregon, and Ontario. Bonus bets expire 168 hours after issuance. For additional terms and responsible gaming resources, see dkng.co/ftball. NFL Plus premium offer available only to new and former NFL Plus subscribers. Additional NFL Plus premium terms at nfl.com/terms.
Good morning, everybody, and welcome back to episode 266 of Empty Betters. I'm your host, Harrison Scholes, and I'm going to toss it across the screen to my co-host, Mr. Nick Manella. What's going on?
Well, that was a fun ride, boys, but does this count as Depression Day? I feel like we're a little bit past Depression Day now, but we'll get into it. I'll save it for later.
For sure, for sure. I'm not even gonna tease you at this point because I know that you guys will unload everything that you need to later in the episode. But I'm now gonna toss it across the screen to the birthday boy. Happy birthday, McCain Vogel.
Well, thank you, thank you, thank you. I promised that I could potentially be inebriated for this episode, and I'm a man of my word. So,
Is this the first live birthday we've had on a
It
pod?
might, I think it might be.
probably.
Yeah,
I think
that's
it might be.
wild.
Yep.
Max in a thriving condition. Nick, you're also thriving, I
I'm
I
kind of
think.
also,
tired, but yeah.
well, I just want to note that I heard Nick say something about the Washington Capitals. I've never heard of them. I've
I'm
never heard of
just
them.
like, guys, I'm so
Doesn't
fired
sound
up.
familiar.
We're finally ready to talk playoff hockey. And let me tell you, the Hershey Bears are
Yeah,
absolutely
dude.
about to go on a run here.
They're
So,
good.
There it is. And
Good team.
that's all we care about, right?
Yep.
But as the boys hinted at, we'll start off the episode with a little bit of a eulogy, if you will, for the 24-25 Washington Capitals, which, to be honest, pretty fun team to watch this year and follow. Definitely exceeded the preseason expectations, but
Right.
it's the Carolina Hurricanes that took you guys down, so I know that's going to strike a
Right.
nerve.
Right. Right. Right.
Yeah, I'll let you guys take the floor here.
I mean, like, before we get into the Caps, let's just get this out of the way now. Hats off to the Canes. That was an incredibly frustrating hockey team to play against. I mean, I
Um,
still absolutely hate that bucket of squid heads, but,
yeah,
at
I
the end of the
guess.
day, that is the most frustrating penalty kill I've ever seen. So,
Yeah.
hats off to them, and I truly hope they do not win a single period in the third round.
Yeah. I mean, like I just don't even know what to say because I don't want to talk for like 45 minutes about this, but I think I voiced my concerns enough on the previous episodes and also on Twitter that uh frustrating team, I'll agree with you, but they kind like I hate to say this, but they kind of didn't deserve it. They kind of didn't deserve it.
Oh, the inebriation has taken place.
I
Why
don't
do you
know.
say that?
I think just because like we literally outplayed them for like a lot of the
Hmm.
series. We really did. And
Hmm.
they scored so many goals on bullshit shots from like the fucking half wall. And I don't know if you want to blame Logan Thompson. I don't know if you want to blame just like law of frequency when you shoot the puck that much, something's going to go in. I don't really know what to blame, but I do know that all the silly little young Capitals fans on Twitter being like, "Oh, we like folded or we didn't have enough effort or whatever." Like that's just straight up wrong. Like we played, I think we played about as good as we could against that team.
I
So
also
maybe,
think that they got better. I mean, game three wasn't ideal.
yeah,
They were completely overrun and it was kind of over, which was frustrating because up until the Canes got that first goal, we talked about it. That was pretty much an even game. Uh, Ironically, game five is the most space the Washington Capitals had in that entire playoff series. And
I
things
think
were
it might be
going
the.
really well.
I think Game Five might be the worst game the Hurricanes played all postseason. Like
I
straight
agree.
up, they did not play well. They
That or
got
their loss to Jersey, but either of
yeah.
those games were pretty off for them.
Like they didn't look good. They literally did not look good. And so that's why I say I guess, you lose in five. Obviously the team deserves it. I'm kind of just being salty, but uh that game in particular, if you're a Caps fan on Twitter being like, we did like we folded, what happened to our team? Like you're just a dumbass at that point. Like
Yeah,
I don't even know if you watched the game if you're saying shit like that.
absolutely. I think when it comes to the Caps, like, yeah, I'm sad that they're out. Yeah, I'm
Yeah.
disappointed. I'm disappointed when that happens every year. I've been alive for 30 years. They've won the Stanley Cup once. So yeah, there's 29 years of disappointment in there. But
Yeah.
you know what? When you look at last season compared to this season,
Yeah.
the amount of things that improved
Yeah, the
is
growth was
is just
impressive.
incredible. I mean, what Spencer Carberry did with a team that fluked their way into the postseason last year, let's be real, on the final day, and only
Yeah.
because the Philadelphia Flyers continued to give their 87-year lecture series on how to be an incompetent hockey program.
The
You
orb of
know,
confusion was present for that one.
exactly. I mean, you go into this year where they're, right up there for the President's Trophy going into the last couple weeks of the season. Protus career year, McMichael career
Yeah.
year, Dubois career year, Chikrin career year. Like these
Yeah.
guys obviously love being here. There was something special about that locker room all year. Obviously, it was going on with the 50th anniversary and then with Ovi chasing down the goal record and everything. But
Yeah.
I do have to say hats off and congrats to a great season. I know there's
Yeah.
people that aren't going to want to hear that, but at the end of the day, I'm happy to hang my hat on that one. That's a fantastic season from that program, and I like that they're getting back to being a postseason contender here, hopefully.
I agree. And the last thing I'll say too is there was a lot of good quotes from players on their like the media day where you debrief on the whole season and everything and you're cleaning out your locker and that kind of stuff. Um and my favorite one was Protus. He had a quote and I don't know it word for word off the top of my head here, but basically what he said was because they were all asking them like what's your outlook on this season and the playoffs that you just had? Excuse me. And Protus said, uh, I have to prove it wasn't an accident, basically, is what he said about his season last year. And he's already focused on next year, being like, I have to prove that it was not a fluke that I scored as many goals as I did. And I fully plan on coming out next year and, proving that. And I love that mentality.
Yeah, absolutely. I couldn't agree more with that. I will say one of the things that the Caps and their media team treated us to this year was, all the different eras of Caps, because we were celebrating the 50th anniversary this year.
Yeah, that
And
was
I
cool.
kind of want to shout out the team because they kind of made me feel like I watched every single era of Caps hockey this entire season.
They did a
And
great job with it for sure.
capping it off perfectly with the way that game five ended, I was like, oh, we're just right back to 2015 Caps. Like, I am right back to sophomore year of college,
Yep.
maybe even 2011, a little bit of high school Caps for me. So it was nice to feel
Hmm.
young again.
Yeah, it was cool.
So I kind of started a riot in my friend group because I don't know if you guys got a chance to see this tweet. Jay Fresh on Twitter is a
There
known
we go.
Penguins fan, and he kind of laid into you guys a little bit, but also at the same time tried to give you props. So I want to hear your perspective on this. And I'm not reading it word for word, but to summarize it, it was like, yeah, like the Caps had a good season if you look at it from September to now. Like if I told you in September what the Caps did this year, you'd be like, sign me up, I'm in. But then
Yeah.
when you look at it as the standpoint of like they were the one seed in the Eastern Conference and here we are again going home in round two, it's like,
Whatever, dude.
what's
Yeah.
the like, do you look at it more like, okay, we overachieved, or is like, damn, we had a really good squad, we had all these career years, we should have gone farther?
I look at it
No,
as like, yeah, you're the one seed and it means shit. This is how deep this Eastern Conference is. This is how loaded the Metro and the Atlantic are. Anyone can beat anyone unless you're Jersey. But that's essentially
Listen,
what happened. I mean, if it wasn't them, I mean, it probably would have been Florida.
yeah, listen, this isn't the fucking NBA, Jay Fresh. Like, you can be a one seed, and that really doesn't mean shit. Like, the way I put it, if you lose in the first round, you can call it a choke job or an embarrassment or whatever. Anything after that, it's just fucking hockey. Like, that's really just what it is. Anybody can beat anybody in the fucking second round of the NHL playoffs. This isn't fucking the Golden State Warriors in 2015 or whatever year. Like it's not the NBA. Like it really does not matter that much once you get out of the first round what your seed is, in my opinion.
Yeah, I mean, let's give an example that Jay Fresh as a Penguins fan can understand. Who did the Penguins beat in 16 or 17 to go to the Stanley Cup final?
Yeah, there you go.
Both years. The
The Ottawa
Caps.
Senators
Oh,
in the conference finals,
In
right?
conference final,
in
yeah.
17 they beat Ottawa in the conference
Right.
finals.
Ottawa got Pittsburgh, the defending Stanley Cup champion, to an overtime of game 7 of the conference
Double
finals,
overtime,
right?
right?
Double overtime, yeah.
Yeah, I think his point was like, I don't know. I don't view
I
the
think his
Caps
point
season.
was that he's a Penguins fan. He's upset that he doesn't have anything to be
I
excited
understand
about.
his point
And
of like, hey, if you're looking at the fact that you went into the postseason as the number one seed and you didn't make it to the conference finals, can you look at that as a disappointment? And I think if you were like looking at the NFL playoffs, like if this was the Ravens, sure, absolutely, you could look at it as
yeah,
a disappointment.
It
But
helps that you guys have the monkey off your back. That's what
yeah,
I'll say.
absolutely. And
yeah,
Mac
oh
and I will be
yeah,
the first ones to tell Jay Fresh that knowing that the Caps went in as the number one seed, that was the first mistake. Because then you just
yeah,
know they're not going to make the conference finals. It's when they're not that they are.
correct.
Yeah, it was I don't know. It was a
Good
very boring
engagement farming.
series.
Definitely good engagement farming by
Well,
him.
the
Yeah.
other engagement farming was your 401k guarantee that has
So
taken the internet by storm here.
Yeah,
I'm still
well,
getting
I
comments on
love
what can I
Twitter.
say?
I love the
I'm a good
level
farmer.
of like idiot that comes out for that kind of stuff because like Mac goes, yeah, you know what? I'm confident in my team. I say I'm confident in my team, and we get crucified for it.
Whatever.
Meanwhile, if we had posted something saying the series is over, this game is over, this team sucks, boo hoo, I hate everything here. Same exact comments, same exact number of them, and it's wow, you have no faith in your
Yeah,
team. You guys are
yeah, I
such
don't
fake
care.
fans. Like it's
It's
just
entertain. It's the entertainment
it's
business. It's
so
fine.
funny.
Yeah, I'm not
Yeah.
bothered by it one bit. I think it's
Yeah.
funny.
So, do you? Well, we're recording this during Game Seven, Toronto, Florida. It's 3-0
Hmm.
after two, so we kind of figured the game is over. Do you give Carolina any chance against Florida? I feel like I know Mac's answer, but
You might want to change that score line. It is now 3-1.
oh,
Oh,
who scored for TO?
It looks like Domi.
Okay, we'll talk about that series, I guess, last. Maybe we'll save it until this is a little more
yeah.
firmed up. How much time you got left,
Interesting.
Nick?
There's 17 minutes to go in the third period. So, yeah.
Okay, we'll hop
Not
out
dead
west.
yet.
We'll hop
Yeah,
out west
yeah.
here.
Let's do that. We'll circle back on that one.
So we've got the Dallas Stars and the Edmonton Oilers, a repeat of last year's third round, the Western Conference Finals again. Both teams moving on. What are your guys' impressions of how those second round series went?
Well, first of all, I'm just fired up that we got a rematch because that was one of the best playoff series we had throughout the entire postseason last year. And just on paper, I mean, how can you not love watching this? You're going to have McDavid at one end, and you're going to have everything that comes with Oilers fandom and all that nonsense. And at the other end, you get to watch the Dallas Stars play hockey. And right now, guys, I don't know if there's a more appealing team out there to turn on every night.
Yeah, I mean, I also want to say number one, the Oilers versus Vegas was one of the worst playoff series I've ever seen in my life. It sucked. Nothing was interesting about it from the jump until the end. So let's just forget that even happened. And number two, the I thought the Jets and the Stars was a fantastic series. I thought there was a lot of fun stuff, a lot of fun games, some overtime. I was fully entertained the whole time. I also, back to my point, just to show everyone I'm not just a homer to defend the Capitals. I think if you're calling the Jets season, I know they won the President's Trophy this year. I think if you're calling what just happened to them a choke, you're an idiot. Like again,
It's
you
not a
made it
Yeah,
to the
choke.
you
It's
made it
not a
to the
choke.
second round and you lost to a really good hockey team in 6 games in overtime. Like that is just hockey. It's literally
yeah.
just what can happen to you when you're involved in the Stanley Cup playoffs. And you can maybe complain about the format, about who has to play who before you get to the conference final. I could hear that argument, but like anybody trying to like engagement farm again on like, oh, but their seed was this and they only made like it that's just not how it fucking works, man. Like
I don't think they choked, but I would say the Winnipeg Jets had an underwhelming postseason, in my opinion. I
I
mean, they, I don't think they played as well as we thought that they would have.
I
I think
think they
it
could have
it
played
got
their
better.
I think they could have played their best hockey the entire time, and they maybe would have made it no further than they did.
Maybe.
The whole not being able to win on the road thing
Yeah.
Yeah,
is
they lost
that's
every
what's
game on the
That
road.
like
is tough. That is tough for
that's what's
sure.
gonna make people say, "Oh, this was a flop or this was a choke." But
Yeah.
I think when you look at the fact they basically played 2 games without Morrissey, Hellebuck was fine in the Stars series. Let's be real. Pretty much from the time Game 7 happened, I felt
Yeah.
like it was back to normal. And then Game 6, he was all over the place, and so was Otter. But
Yeah.
yeah, I don't know. I kind of
I'm just
They just
saying,
can't do it. You
I
can
can't
never get
say it
it
even
was
if
like
they
done.
a
were at
flop.
full, even if they were at full health, and even if they win a couple road games, I'm just saying, like they may still lose to the fucking Stars in 7 in round 2 because it's the Dallas Stars and they're just fucking
Yeah,
hot.
I
Like
think
they
the
like,
result, yeah, like I think maybe you guys tell me if you disagree. I would probably say full health, even if Hellebuyck didn't suck in round one. I think
yeah.
Dallas is just a better team on
Oh,
paper.
Yeah, like
absolutely.
that's kind of my point. It's just like it
Let me
doesn't
put it
even
this way.
matter how well you play sometimes.
I would be out of the Caps, the Jets, and the Golden Knights.
Hmm.
I would consider the Golden Knights season the biggest flop out of those 3 teams.
I'd probably agree, honestly.
Probably. I'd say that's accurate. I think the thing for the Jets that like pisses me off is like, yeah, I get what you're saying. If they played better, maybe they just lose in 7. But there was never a game where I was like, wow, the Jets brought it and they're gonna win the next one and they're gonna go. Like they never just gave me that like full confidence in them. And I
I
feel like
kind of felt that way the first couple games of the first round, but that was so early, and then the Blues started to win at home and sort of flipped the score line on them. But yeah, I see your point.
in the last 4 games of the series, the Jets scored 4 goals total combined. Like
Yeah,
you can't. I like
yeah,
that's the thing. Like yes, you lose in 6, but it's like you won the President's Trophy. I feel like your team should score more goals than that.
yeah. No, I
Oh,
agree with that.
Yeah.
Yeah,
we got
it's four
Uh,
to one Cats, by the way.
yeah,
okay,
it took
good
all of 50 seconds for the
for Toronto to come
for
back
the
to it.
Cats to strike back.
Also, huge shout out to Mark Scheifele. I mean, that's just got to
Yeah,
be.
Yeah,
seriously.
dude. Oh my God. I've never watched a handshake line
That
and
was
felt
incredible.
so emotional. Like
Yeah.
that was just
Yeah. For those who don't know, Scheifele's dad passed away the night before Game 6. He still played, and he scored the first goal of the game, and it was just so storybook the way that works, right? But
yep. Yep.
hell of a performance from him. So we have the Western Conference Finals, and man, do we have a good one on tap because the Vegas odds for this series, it is a pick 'em. It's
Good.
dead
Thank
even.
God. Thank God. That's what it should be.
Dead even. So we've got the Dallas Stars who have probably been, I would say, the team that everybody thinks should win the cup almost every year for the last 5 years. They've been a powerhouse for a while. They're definitely due. And then you talk about the best player in the world coming back, trying to get some revenge, potentially in the same exact team who beat him last year. They're also very due. We're 10 years into the McDavid career, and he's not have a cup yet, so time's
That's
ticking.
insane to say, by the way, that we're 10 years. I
Yeah,
still feel like he's like a like just
Yeah.
past his rookie season.
right.
So who is going to get theirs this season?
I'll be pretty surprised if the Dallas Stars lose this series. They
That's what
are
I
a
said
they
last
are
year,
a
though.
way better hockey team than that Oilers team.
Uh,
Yeah, I feel like
mm,
if there's any flip-flopping with Edmonton's goaltending, give it to Dallas.
Yeah, that's the main thing. Is
Yeah.
like I as much as I love to criticize the Oilers, I will give them some credit. Their their depth has come alive this postseason. They are getting depth scoring from dudes that I do not believe in, like literally from dudes that I make fun of all the time. So that's good for them. But what it boils down to is the goaltending. And if you're flip-flopping between, you know, uh, two two cheeks of the same ass, basically, in goal for the Oilers versus Jake Ottinger. I don't know. I'll take Oddie every day.
Yeah, I also just think Dallas is, I mean, we can look at this on paper. I know that doesn't matter anymore. You can rip that shit up, but Dallas is a much more complete hockey team, let's be real. And I think the way that Dallas's bottom six plays could give the Oilers bottom six some problems. But Mac, you make a great point. I mean, Adam Henrique looks like 2014 Adam Henrique right now, leading the Devils to the Stanley Cup final. So that is a
Yep.
massive win for that Oilers team.
And dude, like fucking Connor Brown is all of a sudden like
Yeah.
good. Like dudes like
Didn't
that
this
are
guy
like
like
coming
not play
alive.
in the NHL for basically like a calendar year and a half?
Yeah, and while he was a part, we basically the Washington Capitals paid him to like rehab his fucking bum ass knee or whatever, and
Right,
then
four
he
games into
was
the
like,
year.
"Thanks a lot for the like medical help. I will be taking my talents to Edmonton now." And
Corey Perry has turned back the clock big time. I feel
yep,
like Zach Hyman's come back alive. Last year was
yep.
had that insane year, but
Evander Kane looks really
Evander,
good all of a
Yeah.
sudden.
dude, I'm telling you, like
Another
it
guy who
just,
basically just didn't play for the last calendar year. Like,
Right.
yeah. Ah, man. So it's just like last year. Dallas has home ice. They're definitely the more steady, consistent team. And then the Oilers are like that sexy, you don't know what you're gonna get. You want it so bad. Like I don't know. This is gonna be a
speaking of
great
wanting
series.
it, let me ask you fellas this. Which team, not a couple players or this guy or that guy, which full team wants this more? Think about before you answer. Think about Jamie Benn. Think about Tyler Sagan. Think about Duchesne. You know, some of those guys that have been around for however long. And then think about McDavid and what he was fucking screaming at his teammates last year. Think about those two things. Which team as a whole wants this more?
Mm.
I know what Harry's gonna say. I'm just gonna go right ahead and say Dallas. I think people kind of forget that this team was in the Stanley Cup final in 2020.
I think a lot of people forget
It just
about
looked a
that.
little different, and there weren't as many fans in the building because
Yeah.
of
Mickey.
reasons. But yeah. So I just think there's like, I mean, that core is still pretty much there. Hence,
Yeah.
Robertson, Haskin, and Ben.
Yeah.
Like
It's two teams that have
those
been
guys
there
want
and
it.
lost,
And
basically. Yeah.
Jamie Benn knows that we're probably looking at what, one
Is
more, maybe two.
I mean, this is probably his last really good chance,
Right.
honestly.
I mean, it's hard for me to say as a team because it all it's McDavid's legacy. Like I know no one it's so obvious, but it's one guy, but that means that weight carries so much
Yeah.
like weight in terms of
But
how
you
he'll be
also got to
viewed.
factor in Rantanen and what he's out there trying to prove right now. Like he's not
Yeah.
done trying to make his statement just because he
And
eliminated the
he knows
Avalanche.
how to get
He,
it done.
You also know who's sneaky, probably wants this more than anyone? Is Stuart fucking Skinner because he'll be like, fuck all of you, I want a
yeah,
Stanley
Yeah.
Cup.
yeah.
Or Calvin Pickard, either one.
Yeah.
Um,
I I don't know.
ah,
It's a good question. It's a hard question.
it is.
Yeah.
So, what do you got, who you taking?
Well, there's that have you guys seen that Stanley Cup playoffs commercial where it's like you've been lied to and
Yeah.
it's like everybody wants it just as much. It's like you got to want it more, but everyone wants it just as much as the other one, but you know, everyone's going to give everything is basically the gist of the commercial. And I do think that's true, but I'm going to side with Nick. I genuinely think the conglomerate Dallas Stars group wants and needs this more than like the Oilers do.
Which is crazy to say considering that the Oilers were what, a period
Yeah,
away
yeah,
last year.
It's another
yeah.
reason
That
why I
is
think you might
insane.
be nuts. But um, so you're taking Dallas, I is my
Yep,
understanding.
yep.
How many games?
I think this one goes seven.
I do too. I really do. I'm gonna go 7.
Uh, why am I finding myself in a similar situation as I have many times over the course of this show where I am going to be pulling for the Edmonton Oilers and I believe that they are going to get it done. And I think they are going to get it done. The easy answer would be seven, but I think it's going to have to be on home ice. So I'm going to say six. I think they get
Wow.
it done in
So
six.
just like last year, they get it done in six.
I think they get it done in six.
Damn. So they're going
And
back.
they're going back. And they're going back with a little bit of unfinished business. Now, let me ask you guys this, because I know we're going to talk about the Leafs here in a second. We know Florida's going to win this game. Hopefully, this doesn't age poorly. What is the best Stanley Cup final matchup we could get?
Hmm. I mean,
Either,
unfortunately, the answer might be just last year's
That's what
rematch.
I'm saying.
yeah,
I think there's a part of me that's pulling for that.
It would be
yeah.
good. It would definitely be good.
Let me tell you what the worst one would be,
Oh my
and that's
God.
any scenario where Carolina advances to the Stanley Cup
Correct.
final.
Correct.
So
We
that's just
don't
not
need
going to
that. We
happen.
don't need that. We need the whole world pulling for the Cats right now. And again, that is not just because they beat the Caps. It's just because nobody fucking wants to watch that shit, man.
I'm trying to think who, other than Kotkaniemi, who is a Finnish player on that Canes team? Don't they have more?
Uh-huh.
There's a lot. Like if they played Dallas, it would be like Team
Oh,
Finland, like
yeah.
Yeah.
kind of like I don't
That's a
know,
good
They
point.
seems all
used
the
to
All
have
Stars. Terravine,
Terravine, and
yeah,
Well, Carolina Edmonton is a rematch of what, '06
that's
or
right.
yeah.
I mean, that's kind of fun, I guess. That's
Yeah.
like a silver lining if
Brendan Moore,
somehow
Brendan Moore
Carolina
lifted that cup too.
he did. If they advance, that's at least a storyline that might be interesting.
Yeah.
Yeah,
I do think the best option though, even though a rematch from last year would be cool, I think Florida Dallas would just be a
yeah.
fucking track meet. I
That's
mean,
heavy.
those are two excellent, excellent teams,
The
and
two best
both.
teams in the league.
Yeah, it is. It
Yeah.
really is when it comes down to it.
All right, well, we are going to hop out east. How much time we got left? Is it safe to say Florida's going to lock this down?
It
It's
is
4-1,
4-1.
and there's like 10 minutes left.
Okay, we're going to
Yeah.
call it over. If this ages poorly, oh well. Florida defeats the Leafs in 7 games after the Leafs had a 2-0 series lead. And we find ourselves in a very familiar situation again where the Leafs are going home early. And yeah, what's
Uh,
the verdict?
it's just fun. Like, I want to be clear. I love Austin Matthews. I
Yeah.
love William Nylander. I like a lot of the players on this team. I like Craig Berube. I think, I'm not even a Leafs hater. I like this team, but it's objectively really funny to me that we're again having this conversation about the Leafs not making it past the second round, and it's just,
I figured out why it's funny. It's like Roadrunner Coyote. It's like no matter how
yes.
many times you see it, or like
That's a
Charlie Brown with the
great
football,
analogy.
like it's just
Yes,
over and
yes,
over again.
yes. That's a perfect analogy. It's like, holy shit, even though he knows this has happened to him a million times, he still tried to kick the fucking football.
Right.
Uh,
I think we can safely say, finally, that Mitch Marner has played his last game in
I
blue
do
and white.
too. I
Why?
think
Because
it's
it's
over.
5-1 now.
Oh, well, that would help, yeah. Um, Mitch Marner, in the last 5 games of the series,
Oh,
so
it is five
basically
four.
after the 2-0 lead for Toronto, in the last 5 games of the series, he had 2 shots on net in 5 games.
Oh boy.
Yeah.
Yeah, that turnover in game what, five,
Yeah,
six, I
the
forget which one it
spinorama
was.
backhand,
Yeah, in the middle of the neutral
5.
zone. Oof, that's one
Like,
for the
what do they
video
do
coaches.
at this point? I don't really even know what they do. They're just
That
cursed.
that's kind of why I'm laughing because there's just nothing. There's no analytics. There's no like chalk. There's no playbook for like what you do when you suck this hard for this long.
Do you think if Stolars didn't get hurt, they would have won the series?
I don't
Honestly,
know,
I don't think
man.
Wall has played all that bad. I think he's
No,
done
he's been
everything
fine.
and probably a little bit more of that you've asked him to do since having to come in relief of this guy. I think it's interesting when you hear guys like PK. He went on a little bit of a rant about this like a couple games ago, and he was basically saying start from the top down, like get Brendan Shanahan the hell out of there, and like do something different.
I
He's
don't
like,
hate that.
you've tried a different GM, you've tried different coaches, you've got to do something different because what's the definition of insanity? It's doing the same thing over and over again and
Yeah.
expecting a different result. But I kind of agree with Mac. It's like I don't even really like what else do you do? Because let's be real, they're not blowing that core four up, no matter how like great of an offer they get, because everyone is going to lowball them.
They're gonna
Well,
keep
Mitch will walk,
Nyes.
but
They're
yeah.
gonna they'll let Mitch walk because they have Nyes anyway,
Right.
and that's like a cheap replacement because he's young enough that I mean he's
It's also
good, but
just better in the playoffs.
yeah, so
Right.
far. Um but oh my God, this is what I was like. This is the mental gymnastics I was doing in my head earlier, and let me see if I can articulate this point. I I think a huge part of this is how much pressure the fucking fans put on them. Like
Yeah.
and there's no solution to that, unfortunately.
No.
Is what I was like
Well,
going
there
through in my
is, but not
head.
like an actual practical one.
Because
Stop being a bunch of
I
babies.
mean, yeah, but like how do you tell a group of fans to like care less or to like invest themselves less in the or like to trust the
No, yeah.
process more,
Yeah.
like
I don't
it's
blame them.
impossible. It's impossible to get these people to care less. But like, okay, this too, like the media thing. I know we always talk about Toronto media, but let me put something in perspective for a second. We find out hours before tonight that Drake has a $1 million bet on the Leafs, right?
Yeah.
I'm watching the pregame an hour before the game starts, and they're talking about it on
Yeah.
TNT.
Yeah.
You're insane if you think that the Leafs players don't know that Drake has a $1 million bet on them to win this game. They know.
Yeah.
They know that. They
Yeah.
they know that.
I
If
also
they're
think
talking about this on TV an hour before the game, the players know it.
I also think it's a little bit ridiculous just the amount like the TNT broadcast just got turned into Biz being
Yeah.
pro Leaf show. I'm like, okay, this is a little much. Like now we're lighting like candles and like an altar to like the core four and everything before this
See,
game. Like, come on, guys.
see
Like,
that part I'm actually okay with
oh,
because
I just
I
like I
saw
thought it was stupid, but
I saw a lot of people like saying like, "Oh, you got to be like unbiased as a media personality." I'd almost rather him lean into it than
I,
just
I,
be
I'm with you, Mac. Yeah.
like he's obviously a Leafs fan. We all know this. We all know that like it would be sillier for
uh,
him to try and be unbiased.
that's fair. And I'm fine if he leans into it, but like the little sketch comedy thing, I'm like, oh, cringe.
They're
Like this is
trying a
just
little too
falling
hard.
so
Yeah.
flat.
I know a
Yeah.
lot of people share that same opinion, Nick.
Sure.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I don't necessarily disagree with
I
that.
think that's something that we could probably just say across the broadcast as they try and let's be real,
Yeah.
they're trying to make the broadcast sound
The
like spit and
NBA thing.
chicklets.
Yeah. That too. They're
And
trying to
so
make it like the Charles Barkley
right,
thing and
which and
like
like let's be real, that's one of the best pregame shows out there, and
yeah.
I'm not even the biggest NBA guy, but like when you
Yeah.
try and make every panel show sound like spit and chicklets or sound like the NBA on TNT,
Yeah.
it's not gonna work. It's gonna flop.
Some people hate it, some people love it. I don't mind it actually. I'm kind of in the middle.
I
I'm
think
okay with it. I'm
one
okay
of the
with it.
best tweets, I think, Mac, you sent this in our Twitter group a couple days ago. It was like, God, how far we have fallen. And it was just a mashup
Oh,
of Doc
dude.
Emmerich, like Stanley Cup playoff intros with like that
Yes.
NBC
The
music.
NBC. Can I
Like,
throw another shot at Jay Fresh real quick?
yeah.
Oh yeah, because
He
yeah.
quote tweeted that and was like, no shot we're being nostalgic for NHL on NBC right now.
And isn't
his
Doc like
his
Mr. Pittsburgh too?
his thing was like about how we had Milbury and we
Yeah,
had
yeah.
Pierre and people. He was like, "You
Okay,
Bro,
forget
man.
that."
Whatever, dude. Like
I'll say it. I miss Pierre.
me
A
too.
little bit, yeah. We didn't
Yeah,
know
Me
what we
too.
had.
right.
Yeah. It
Like it's one
whatever.
of
We
my
don't need to
favorite
go down that
videos
rabbit hole, but
of all
holy shit, when
time.
you want to talk about engagement farming or you want to talk about like somebody being like, "Oh, somebody posted the meme that's like the coolest thing ever," and somebody's pointing at it and being like, "That sucks," or whatever.
Yeah.
Like
Yeah,
that's what it is. Anyway, back to the Drake thing for a second. That is part of the problem. Like
What,
if
Drake? Oh,
you're
I totally agree.
if you're if you're Austin Matthews and you know that like come on. If you know that this guy has $1 million on it, that does something to your brain.
Yeah, maybe a little bit. I don't know. I don't
Thing
want
is,
to. I
like,
don't.
why, first of all, why would he do it, given one, his own sports
Yeah.
betting history, and then two, just everything
Well,
that,
the second he put that, I sent it to you guys. I was like, the
Yeah.
Leafs are done. Like it's
yeah,
over.
like,
Actually, I think one of you said Panthers by 5, and damn near that was correct.
It literally happened.
That
Yeah.
basically ended up being correct.
The last thing I'll say about the Leafs, because I know that this is gonna get traction, especially if Rantanen keeps playing like this. The worst thing that Mitch Marner ever did to the Leafs has nothing to do with his own ice performance, but denying that trade, the 1-for-1 with Rantanen that got leaked, where the Leafs asked Mitch, like, "Hey, would you do this?" And he was like, "No."
I thought
And
you were going to say the worst thing he's ever done was the grittying at his wedding or whatever,
well,
but
that too.
that was
that's up
pretty
there.
bad too.
Yeah,
But
it's up there.
like,
Well, he actually, I give him one piece of credit. He showed some fire tonight. He screamed at the bench, but then he did nothing about anything.
Yeah.
So I don't really know how that one works. But
I
regardless,
saw I saw a look. This is the last thing I'll say. I saw a look on Craig Berube's face, like while they were down 3-0, and they panned over to him, and the look was just like, I get it now. It was just like, holy
yeah,
shit, I
I,
get why this fucking team like is useless, like in these type of
yeah,
situations. Like I'm a good coach. I did everything I possibly fucking could for these people. And here we are down 3-0 in the most important game in all of these players' careers. And like
yeah.
he just looked dumbfounded of like, holy shit. No, it all makes sense now. I get it.
yeah,
Like,
I don't want to like completely like poo-poo just Mitch Marner because I think there was a lot of reasons it went wrong across the board. And in a weird way, I also think there were some things they did great this year that we haven't seen from this Leafs team in years past. I mean, some of the good stuff, let's
yeah.
start with that. Max Pacioretty, way to turn
Oh
back
my
time and
God.
find a
Yeah.
way, dude. Holy shit, that was awesome. Nyes looked great. I thought Jake McCabe has been great all series. I think he's
Yeah.
been one of the
Yeah.
most underrated Leafs for the last 2 or 3 years.
Tanev has been awesome.
Tanev was awesome. OEL's been pretty solid.
Yeah.
Even had some scoring earlier on in the postseason. But I mean, as soon as this game started, Florida jumped out to what, like 5 or 6 shots up on the Leafs. The Leafs didn't have any. They had like
Scoring chances at one point in the first period were 18-0.
yeah, and
Or
like
or
there was just a couple
or
plays
shot
behind
attempts.
the
Sorry,
net.
shot attempts.
You
But
know,
still.
I'm looking at the Leafs and like Morgan Riley like goes back for a puck and the Panthers player just very
Yeah.
easily gets in between the wall and him, gets the puck off of him. I'm like, hey, dude, it's game 7. Like maybe
Yeah.
you want to finish that check.
Yeah. The other thing, let me go back to the fans one more time here. And again, I'm not asking Leafs fans to like care less or like be less invested, but there's a certain point where some of you are so fucking cringe. Why would anybody want to play for this franchise when you're throwing your jersey on the ice when you're still winning a series or when you haven't lost a series yet? You're burning shit when you're still up 3-2 in the first round. Like it's shit like that, or even tonight. Game 7, you're losing 2-0 and you're already booing your team. What the fuck do you think that's gonna do? Like excite them to do better? No, dude. Like it's cringe.
I don't blame them though. If
But it's
I
I am an
understand.
Orioles fan who is done with this fucking
Oh, me
franchise,
too.
and I'm
Totally.
Yeah,
not
well,
trying to
that
compare
too.
different sports, but
But
like
Yeah.
at
but
least
like
the Leafs is
Apples
when
and
is
orange
that ever
crushes, but yeah.
when has it ever helped though? Like
yeah,
being
but
like,
you're a
holy
pro
shit.
athlete.
Well,
You're a
I
pro athlete.
understand being angry at your fan base. We've all been there. But like
Yeah.
when you get in your head so much that you're like writing horrible things about these athletes on Twitter or you're launching your
Well,
jersey
that's
onto the
different.
ice and
It's
you're just
it's
Oh, I don't mind
showing
the
embarrassing, dude.
I don't
oh
mind the jersey launching.
we
Writing like
we've
bad
discussed this
things.
before. I know we're on opposite ends of that, but you know,
Well, because they fucking suck every year. It's like like you're paying your captain 11 million bucks and he can't score a goal in the second round until game 6. It's like,
I
yeah,
don't
I'm gonna
did
throw
you
your fucking
guys
jersey, dude. Like, sorry, you like enough is enough.
To me, if you throw your if I don't care what team you're a fan of, if you throw your jersey of the team that you are a quote unquote fan of on the ice, I better never see you at a game ever
yeah,
again.
well said.
You better really be done.
I
I don't want this
respectfully disagree.
theatrics.
Yeah.
I want you to be sincere about that, and I better never see you at a game ever again, and I better never hear you talk about that team ever again. Because if you're done, then go ahead, be done. We don't want you here.
Yeah.
I just The Leafs in fear. I can't even imagine. I can't even imagine. What's a more embarrassing fan to be?
The Jets.
Like the
Like
what? The
the
New
New
York
York?
Jets?
Yeah.
Yeah, that I'll give you.
Yeah.
I mean, sure. And you think they don't burn things and throw things on fields and
Oh,
say bad
sure.
things about
They
players?
just don't make the postseason though.
Yeah,
But
it
can you
just
blame
hasn't
them?
even.
It's like, God, I
Well,
almost don't.
I think also that tends to happen to those people when they live in that area, but I could go on for
Well,
Yeah.
that's
hours about
fair.
that.
I don't
So,
know. I mean, yeah, it's like don't throw your jersey, be a
uh,
good fan, but it's also like, dude, if I was a Leafs fan, I can't imagine what I
I
would
just
say on a daily
I
basis.
just think there's something objectively like hilarious. Like, look at that village idiot, that 45-year-old man that just took off his $200 jersey while
Yes.
sitting in $1,200 seats
Yes,
and said,
exactly.
"Wah, I'm having a
Exactly.
temper tantrum," and throws it on
I'm
the ice.
mad.
Yeah,
Yeah. And the whole time his team is winning 3-2 in the series. Like
right.
that, like it's that type of shit
It's
that
because he
I'm
knew.
like you
Right.
are a
Right.
baby.
He knew. He knew what was going to
It's
go down.
so stupid.
All right, we're done with the Leafs. Jesus, ugh.
That took
Every
longer
year.
than the fucking Caps segment.
Every
I'm
year.
so fired up about this fucking fan base, man.
I just all right, yeah, no, I'm done. All I'm
Yeah,
gonna say
I'm
is
done.
if you're
Where did the
telling
Pink
fans that
Whitney bucket come from?
Don't
if you
worry,
tell
guys.
fans they care too much, I don't think that's the root problem. I think it's the players who can't just like get it fucking
I
done.
agree with that, Harry. There's nothing you can do to tell the fans basically like, "Hey, tone it down." Like you
Yeah,
can't
no,
yeah, you
you don't
can't do
want
that.
that. You want your
Right,
fans to care.
Right.
right.
I will say though, they've got to do something about the vibe in that building because you can just feel everyone sitting there like this
Yeah.
Yeah,
for every game. It's not even just like game 7. It's game 1 when they go down 1-0. Like that
yeah.
arena gets quiet, that arena gets panicked like
You know
I
and
why?
mean,
yeah, well, yeah.
Because they can't ever fucking get it done. Like
So is that it's 2 playoff series wins in like what, the last 22 years or something like that?
yeah. And how
Oh
many times
boy.
has Brad Marchand been on the other side of it?
Today was his 5th game 7 just against Toronto, I think, in his career. There's
yeah,
guys that
he's
don't play 5 game 7s in their entire career.
I had no idea. They showed the stat. He's tied for second most game sevens played in history. And I think they said Chara and Bergeron had one more than
I
him.
think they also
Wow.
said he tied with the win tonight. I'm pretty sure he tied the most game 7 wins in history too. Is that what
Oh
you just
wow.
yeah.
I didn't know that. All
It is
right.
now 6-1.
Enough of the Leafs chatter.
And guess who scored?
Ugh,
Marchand?
Brad Marchand.
Wow,
gross.
let's go.
All right. Hurricanes, Panthers.
Oh
What do
my
we got?
God.
I don't even know if you guys should be answering this question.
This is cool.
Aha.
Battle of fan bases that are both 15 minutes old.
Oh my
I'm
God.
just
Yeah.
kidding. Love to poo-poo on this, but
I'm not
yeah,
too.
this is gonna be fun, right? Fun series, I think.
This is gonna be a
I don't think so.
gritty series. I think it's gonna be very low scoring as well.
Yeah, I think it'll be really interesting. I know Maurice has had some choice comments about the Panthers power play in the second round against Toronto. He was saying, like, why are we just dusting this thing off? Hey, let's, shoot the damn puck. Tell me if you've heard that before. So I think that going up against Carolina's
Yeah.
insanely frustrating psycho penalty kill is going to
Yeah.
be a great matchup to watch.
We got series odds already. DraftKings is well ahead of it. Panthers minus 125, Canes plus 105. I think it's worth noting. I think the Canes have home ice in this one.
Wow.
Hmm. That's
Mac,
interesting.
your analysis or lack thereof.
Yeah, I just have a hard time believing that this is going to be a exciting series with the Canes in it. And I'm not even trying to be like a dick or be like, oh, like fuck the Canes. I mean, definitely fuck the Canes, but that's not my point here. I just don't think like it's exactly what Whitney said. Like he said on Twitter the other day that I think it was him and Pete Blackburn said it too. But basically we're not insulting you when we say like the Canes have a boring brand of hockey. We're not being like, oh, fuck you.
No, we've been saying it about the Islanders for 15
Yeah,
years.
and it's like we get that if you're a Canes fan, obviously it's exciting to watch your team win games and like you don't care how they're doing it. Like if they're winning games, it's very exciting to you. So like it's not surprising that these fans are being like, "Oh, you guys are so wrong. These games are awesome." Like, yeah, of course you think that. But I just have a hard time believing with this matchup, like what I'm picturing with the Canes versus the Cats, I just don't think it's going to be an exciting series. That's not the word I would use to describe what I expect to happen. I think it'll be. Do you want my official prediction right now?
Yeah, rip it.
Rip, go.
Rip it.
Cats in five,
Whoa.
Whoa.
I,
Damn.
I really want both
which is
conference
good for the
finals
Canes.
to go
They'll
seven.
finally win one game in the Eastern Conference Final. That'll be good for them.
Damn. Holy shit.
Oh boy.
I,
Wow.
I think it'll be a little bit closer than that. I think Carolina at home is going to start the series strong. I think they're going to continue to win at home. Although I do think this is the series they do drop one at home. I think Florida is just too good of a team, especially on the road. We're seeing it right now. 6-1, just absolute beatdown over the Leafs in the most important game in their last 30 years. But yeah, uh, I got to go with the Cats in this one. I'm going to say seven. I like both of these conference final matchups to go seven, and I'm also manifesting that. So
Well, we're
fingers
also not
crossed.
talking about the fact that the Canes are so bad on the road. I know they got two against the Caps, but think about the last one they got against the Caps. Again, I mentioned it earlier. They played a horrible hockey game for the most part in game five against the Capitals. They end up winning on a shot from the half wall that probably Thompson should have had. I don't know, whatever. You can argue about it. Um, but I just don't see that kind of shit happening to the Panthers. Like, if like put it this way, if the Panthers play the way that the Capitals did in that game five, they end up winning that game.
I believe the Canes are 3-1 on the road, so I feel like I can't say they suck on the road.
They had a horrible road
Mac,
record
I see what
this
you're saying.
NHL season.
I
Like,
do
I
think
know
that
regular season playoffs, whatever, you don't want to compare. I get that, but they're not a
along
That
good
those,
in general this year, they are not a good road team.
yeah, along those same lines, though, I think if the Caps or if the Panthers played the exact same way the Caps did, they only make like one of those mistakes instead of like
Yes,
five throughout the whole
exactly. Like
series.
it's that kind of shit. Like they just have more of a killer instinct. They
Yeah.
also have like it's no shots at Logan Thompson. I think he's an excellent goaltender. I'm excited for his future, but I don't see Bobrovsky letting in some of those goals too. Like I just I don't know.
I think Carolina's going to have a really, really hard time with that Marchand, Lundell, and Luis-Sterainen line that
And
Florida
let
has.
me like take a shot at the Capitals for a second here. The Hurricanes just played the Devils and then the Capitals, and they're like, "Oh my God, we're so good. We're gonna go all the way this year." And now they have to play like a real fucking hockey team. You know what I mean?
No, that's fair. I agree with that.
And that's taking a shot at my own team by saying that. Like the Panthers are another level of beast that they have to defeat. Like,
They certainly are. They certainly are. It's going to be the hardest team they've played, no doubt, by a long shot. Um, I mean, listen, I think you guys don't like the Hurricanes, and then as a result of them winning that series,
correct.
you really you really don't like the Hurricanes. I think they're a better team than what you guys might be giving them credit for.
Probably.
I
I
don't know.
I think you're underestimating their bottom six. I think Martinook and Stahl are
Who?
two big players that I think had great series, even though it might not be on the score sheet, were factors in that series all excuse me, all series long. Uh I'm not confident that the Hurricanes can beat them, but they are the last team I have left in my Final Four, and I picked them to go to the Stanley Cup Final this year. So I am going to stand by that, and I am going to take the Canes in seven.
Wow.
Believe the Canes will do it in
Yeah,
seven.
I think like I said, if it goes seven, it's a coin flip.
Yeah. Whenever you get to a game seven, you never know what's going to happen. It's going to be really hard.
Well, unless a certain team in blue is playing.
Yes, exactly.
Oh man.
Which is why their fans throw the jerseys on the ice.
Right.
Oh God. All right.
By the way, that is now official, six
Oh,
to one,
Final score,
also,
eh?
and it
we
was
gotta
Cats by five.
Thank God we started recording after the second period.
we gotta give one guy some serious props who hasn't really gotten it, and you guys are gonna say whatever, boohoo.
Me.
Jacob Slavin is
Yeah,
insane.
yeah,
Oh,
He's
dude.
insane.
No, I will be the
yeah.
first to admit that. I think a year ago I would have been like, yeah, right. Ever since I saw him in the Four Nations, I think he's the best defenseman in the league. I
Yeah,
I
like defensively
genuinely think
speaking.
yes, I genuinely
Easily
think he's the
the
best
best American
defensive.
defenseman for sure.
I think he's the best defensive defenseman in the league, which means he's the best defenseman in the league,
Yeah, I don't really
which is what
trust.
the Norris Trophy should be, by the way. But
Yeah, I don't trust anyone that looks at him and then goes, "Oh yeah, but I'd take Adam Fox or Charlie
oh my
McAvoy over that."
God,
It's like,
oh
"Oh,
my God,
what?"
Uh, Freddie Anderson gonna have to be staying hot here. I think he's like the only chance that the
dude.
Canes have.
He's looked good. I will give him that.
Can I
He's
say
looked
something
great.
toxic?
Yes.
Oh, please, it's your birthday.
Yeah, and I'm drunk. If somehow Freddie had been hurt and Kochetkov had played that series against the Capitals, it's Caps in like six.
That is a very toxic thing to say.
Hey,
Yes.
Peter.
Bear.
I'm also interested to see
Hey,
Ivan
Piotr.
Drago Jr. Make some more noise here in the lineup.
Is
That Nikit,
Nikishin gonna?
that's
Yeah, is
that's
he
what I
gonna
was
keep
talking about.
playing? Like,
Yeah, I
did
mean,
Chatfield get hurt or was that just like a scratch? I couldn't
I
understand what
think
the
they
fuck
want
that
this
was.
guy in the lineup.
Okay,
The reports on
he
him
looked
coming in.
good. Honestly, I thought he played a pretty good game five.
He,
Yeah, he had his welcome to
He
the
like
NHL
he.
physicality moment for sure. But yeah, he
he's
Oh
built in the
yeah,
lab. I mean,
locked in pretty quick after that.
he at least had like some good shots that were like mostly blocked by players and stuff, but like he was like, I don't know. He he was assertive. Like he wasn't invisible, you know?
Boop boop.
Okay. So the you guys have Cats, I've got Canes, and then out west, you
Yeah, I
guys
have two
have
cats here.
Dallas,
Well, they're my
and
roommate's
I
cats,
have the
but
Oilers. So, all right. Any other toxic things that we want to air out there while we're here? Because it's probably going to be a week before we record again, just with busy schedules going on at the moment.
yeah, let me see. Let me see. I don't know. I don't know.
Can't think of anything. I just that Leafs handshake line, man. Oof.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And we're going to leave it at that.
I'm
Great
praying
banter on the
for
Leafs,
Rick
though.
Rowley. I'm definitely praying for him,
Yeah.
Yes.
hoping that he has a good night's sleep tonight.
If he sleeps at all. What's the new Morgan Wallen song line? It's like, been
Oh,
getting a lot of sleep, but tell me why I don't feel like I got any rest. I feel
yeah.
like that's the Leafs tonight.
Yeah.
No rest, all sleep.
Yikes.
Just closing their eyes, but not actually like physically resting.
Close
I
those eyes, brother Rick.
I
Close
would
those
close
eyes.
my eyes too, man. It's
If you're a
not
Leafs
pretty.
fan, just close those eyes tonight.
Yeah.
Close them.
All right, good epi fellas. Good banter. I like the Leafs banter. Mac, happy birthday. How old are you?
Yes.
27?
Yeah.
It's not bad.
That's all right.
Do you feel old?
I feel good as new.
There it is.
Want to switch?
Yeah, what's the difference? Sure.
And on that
We'll
note,
all be dead in 20 years.
Right. There we go.
thank you everybody for listening. Appreciate the love and support, and we'll talk to you in the next one.